When it comes to gun violence in America, we find ourselves in one of those good news, bad news kinds of moments. The good news is that gun violence has actually been declining in this country since it peaked in the early 1990s. But here's the bad, and I mean really bad news. One person is killed by a firearm in this country every 17 minutes. More than 100,000 people are shot in the United States every year. And between 2000 and 2010, 335,609 people died from guns. That number is more than the population of St. Louis, Missouri, more than the population of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, more than the population of Newark, New Jersey, more than the population of Orlando, Florida. In those 10 years, guns wiped out more than the populations of any of those large American cities. So we may be doing better since our peak in the 1990s, but we have a long way to go before we can imagine that we're doing good enough. Perhaps this weekend can help. This weekend is National Gun Violence Sabbath Weekend, an event sponsored by a coalition called Faiths United to Prevent Gun Violence. This multi-faith coalition advocates for a range of policies which, in all candor, I support, but not all Americans do. So I want us to think beyond the individual policies, knowing that crossing faith boundaries is good. But can we do something maybe even more radical? Can we cross political and ideological boundaries as well? So yes, I admit I support the policies advocated for by Faiths United to Prevent Gun Violence, but I want to know if we could use this weekend to draw on whatever faith we follow to find strength, not just to support those policies, but to reach out and find new common ground, even with people who may not, in whatever faith community they find themselves. Could we use this coming Sabbath weekend not only to lobby for the policies which we think will make gun violence get better, to lower those numbers, but could we also use this weekend to open our hearts and minds to create new relationships, new alliances that will offer bold new ideas to address a challenge that affects us all, whichever policies we currently support and whatever faith we follow. In Jewish tradition, Sabbath is often called a taste of the world to come, of a redeemed and perfected world. Surely, if we could use our faith to find the strength to create new relationships and alliances, to come up with unprecedented responses around which we could come together to end gun violence in America, well, if that wouldn't be a taste of the world to come, I don't know what would be. And I sure hope we can make it happen this weekend and into the future.